Hello, welcome to Market in Maine. I'm Alex Rodriguez with Distinction Real Estate. Today I'm with Stacy Cox with Stacy Cox Photography, and today we're going to be discussing Real Estate Photography 101. All right, let's do it. So today we're discussing Real Estate Photography 101. Why is it important and why we have professional photos done every time we have a listing come up. What is your take on professional photography and real estate listings?
Well, when people are looking for a home, the first interaction they're going to have with that home are the photos that they see. Most likely the photos that they see online through listing agencies and things like that. And so that is your first impression. Those images of your home are the first things that people see, and it's what gets them to call you. It's what gets them to come and look in your house. So I think that investing in the property to have a professional come and take photos is incredibly important. There are many ways to photograph a home, but hiring a professional means you're hiring somebody that has the experience, they have the equipment, they understand how to make the home look its best.
And when you go into a home and do photos, I mean, we're not talking just coming in with a camera and taking photos of a home, right? We're talking about getting the home set up and staged for photos. And then another thing you offer is aerial photos of the exterior portion of the home, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I think of real estate photography, it's complex. There's a lot to go into it, photo editing and, making sure the home is set up correctly. What's one thing that you would like or that you like to see sellers do to their home in order to prepare for you to come in and work your magic?
So there's a ton of things. I think one of the most important things that stands out to me, and people may not really think about this, but we live in this awesome area in southern Utah, and everyone has a view, even behind us right now.
Right.
You can live in a neighborhood, you can live outside of town, everybody has a view, and we want to showcase that. And in order to showcase that, we need you to have clean windows.
Gotcha.
And so I think it's one of the things that people don't immediately think of when they're preparing the home. We always think, I got to clean the house, or I got to reduce some of the clutter or clear the countertops, and those are all very important as well. But I think for me, when I'm with my camera, one of the things I always see is when I can't truly see out the window. And we want to be able to show not only the inside of the home, but what's outside. What are you going to, like you're sitting here having coffee, you're having people over, having for dinner, or you're watching TV. What is your experience out your window as well? Especially with, people come here for our beautiful red rocks and that sort of thing. So having clean windows is actually really important. If I could pick two things to clean, you're going to only clean two things in your house: clean your floors and clean your windows. Okay. Because in the photograph, I feel like those two things really stand out. When we walk into a home and when we see with our eyes and we experience the home, it's completely different than how the camera captures the home. And so as a realtor, when you're preparing a home or when you're working with the homeowner that's selling and helping them to prepare the home for photographs, a lot of times there'll be things that you're asking for and the sellers may not understand why you need to do that. And it's because of that experience. The camera starts to see all the distractions. When we walk in ourselves without a camera, we experience a feeling like this home makes me feel this way. And so having all these things out that you have as you live in a home, there's stuff on the counter, there's pictures on the wall, there's this sort of thing, creates an experience that you feel. The camera doesn't have any feelings, and it sees many of these things as distractions. And so when you go to look at a photo, you may not understand why you're not really enjoying that photo, but it's because there's all these things distracting you. But when you look at a photograph of a space and everything's nice and tidy, there's not too many distracting things, you get pulled into that photo and you're like, I really like this space.
Right.
And then you want to go see it.
No, I mean, and I totally understand. I mean, when I go in and having a listing meeting, one thing that's discussed is preparing the home for photography, preparing the home for viewings, And one thing that I always like to have discussed about is, decluttering the home, maybe take away some of those personal things that are in the home and allowing those buyers to come into your house and almost look and see where their personal belongings would go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's, yeah. No,
I
it
think
totally makes sense.
that's a really good explanation of it, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a home for themselves, and we all live differently. We all have different things, and we
Right.
set up our homes differently. So if you make that space, you make that space for that viewer to say, oh, I can see having, this is where I'd put this thing that I have, or this, and that's what preparing for these photos does. It is complex. It's not just let me come snap a few photos or whatever. It's really trying to make sure that it shows the house in the best light, and then also gives that potential buyer the desire and the motivation to come after your house
And move forward.
Yeah, move forward.
Correct. So, Stacey, can you give us just a rundown list of, some things that sellers need to take into account when wanting to prepare their home for a professional like you to come in and do photography work?
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned, windows and floors. That's a really big thing. Countertops. The countertops don't have to be empty, but even as you mentioned, it's personal items. So, for example, bathroom counter is the easy thing. If you have your toothbrush out or other thing, your daily use kind of things, go ahead and hide those. Hand soap or hand towels, that sort of thing, definitely leave it out. Kind of approach it maybe like when you go into a hotel. Some of the personal items are away. The things everyone would use in the space are still there, and it's just about minimizing. Don't have to remove everything. Just minimize. I know on our counters at home, I got everything I could possibly need right away in the kitchen.
Right.
It's all at
Right.
hand's reach. But if I'm preparing it for photos, I'm going to put some of that away, so that people can see the counters, so they can see the backsplash, so they can see what's going on around the sink and that sort of thing. And if we have all of our stuff around it, we can't see that. So it's working on the countertops like that. Put the toilet seat down. That's a big one. We don't need to see the inside of your toilet. If you have a lot of furniture, just all in, and you don't see fluid walkways going through, it might be worth taking a piece or two of furniture and putting them in the garage for the photos, so that it opens up the space a little bit. Because when there's a lot of things in the frame of the camera, it's going to make that space look small. And so taking a few things out will make it look like the size that it is a nice open space. Closets are great places to hide things. Most photographers, unless it's a really nice walk-in closet, not just a step-in closet, but something where you actually walk in, like a primary closet, typically are not going to be photographed. So all these things that we need you to move for a photograph, you can just place them in the closet, and then they can come right back out after the photos. Those are the really big things. One of the things that has been brought up is about asking a seller to remove personal photographs. And there's a couple ways to look at this. One of the things about it is, you mentioned creating space for them to see where their things are going to go.
Right.
But also, the images of your home are going to be made public. They're going to be posted on listing services, and they're going to exist on the internet for quite a long time. Probably, and social media as well. So those photographs are going to last for a long time. And so if you have photos of your grandchildren or your children or your other family and friends and things like that, sometimes taking those photos down, one, it clears some space for these photographs, but then it also keeps those off the internet or public spaces that are going to be lasting, because those things, they don't just disappear, they stay there forever.
Right.
But I think those are the main things when you're preparing the home and to think about.
Thanks again for coming out and joining us today, Stacey. We appreciate all your information that you provided us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Again, if you're looking for real estate photography work, Stacey is my go-to. She does all my real estate photography. She's located here in Kanab, Utah.
Give me a call.
Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for everything real estate. Hello, welcome to Market in Maine. I'm Alex Rodriguez with Distinction Real Estate. Today I'm with Stacy Cox and Stacy Cox. And Stacy Cox? We're talking, wow.
This is going at the end.
It's going to be part of the bloopers.